So good morning and good afternoon to those in various time zones. And thank you for joining today's webinar, Doxim's Journey to World-Class Service. My name is Janet Lucer. I'm the Vice President of Customer Experience here at Doxim, and I will be your host. So a few housekeeping items before we begin. Today's webinar will be recorded, and we're going to share out our recording. We will be taking questions in the Q&A panel during the webinar, and based on time, we will answer those questions at the end. If your questions do not get answered during the webinar, we will follow up with you afterwards. At this time, I'd like to introduce our primary speakers. So we will be joined today, next slide please, Gary, by Gary Zavislak. So I think you heard Gary chatting a little. Gary is our Senior Vice President of Operations. Also joining us is Nouman Mufti, Senior Vice President of Professional Services, and Stephen O'Doherty, Doxim's Chief Information Officer and Chief Security Officer. However, let's begin with Doxim's President and CEO, Mike Rogalski. I'll turn it over to you, Mike.
Thanks, Janet, and good morning to all who have taken the time to join us. I have the privilege of leading Doxim as our President and CEO. I joined Doxim in October of 2019, and who would have thought 6 months later the world would have changed as dramatically as it has. When I got here, I took over from our founding CEO, Chris, who is still on our board and very involved. He and I exchanged some emails today, and we do speak regularly. And one of the things that really attracted me to joining Doxim was the philosophy that Chris had started, and one that I believe passionately in, and that is creating a culture around world-class service centered around common values and goals and how we're going to serve our clients. As my team has heard me say time and time again, we've worked so hard to get the clients from selling and prospecting, and it's up to us to make certain that we continue to deliver with excellence and retain those clients that we've worked so hard to get. And one of our goals is to grow as a business by adding new clients, adding revenue, which allows us to reinvest in people and technology to ensure we're continuing to serve the clients that, again, we've worked so hard to get. One of the things that I'm extremely proud of is quite frankly, our client retention. We retain clients on average, if you do the math, over 20 years. And when we look at it from a pure revenue perspective, we retain 98 to 97% of all the revenue we generate year over year. Now, if I could get Gary to move to the next slide, one of the things that I can be honest with you about is we have not been in stellar here in the last several months. And I could make an excuse and say, it was COVID. But at the end of the day, no matter what it is, we as an organization have to deliver and deliver with excellence. Many of you on the call today are credit unions, and serving your members. And the reason members come and join a credit union, it's a different level of service. And it's really our mission to provide world-class service, even though there may have been challenges in terms of recruiting and dealing with COVID. And we had a priority around Doxim of priority number one was our employees' health. And we did that for when we want to keep our people healthy and their families. But the real impact is if we as an essential service provider are going to be able to continue to provide services to our clients who are also essential service providers serving the financial sector, utilities, insurance, and healthcare, we need to be in the office and working. And it was a challenge for us. However, as I say all that, we are looking forward. We are investing in people and technology. And if we had really a framework or an approach to service, it's really around building processes that work, leveraging what has existed in the past, and enabling us to ensure that as your business evolves, we evolve with it. And it starts with, quite frankly, meeting our SLAs. And in doing that, and how we do that, it's really a partnership. How we interact in terms of data coming into our organization, samples going back, changes within inserts, as we really pride ourselves on not only being an excellent organization from a print perspective, but we take pride in being a software first company. We have to process that data through our engines, compose the documents, and then we are very much an omni-channel communication provider. We do have 10 print centers around North America, but we also have the ability to do interactive HTML, enterprise emails, two-way text messaging. And if there is an overarching goal in terms of establishing and continuing to partner with our clients in terms of what we're doing, we know you have choices. We want you to choose Doxim for many, many years to come. And our goal is really to make it simple, that you can trust us to outsource what is near and dear to your heart, a way you communicate with your clients, whether it's statements or any other thing that we're doing on behalf of your organizations. We really do take great pride in being part of your business. I almost like to call us the business behind the business in terms of how you serve and communicate your clients. So I'm going to turn it back to Gary, but when I think about, I guess before I do that, when I really think about our approach, we need to have scale. And I mentioned we have 10 service centers around the organization. We have been acquisitive as of late, but quite frankly, it was to help us plug some gaps in our product and build that scale, to build centers of excellence where in the event of a disaster, and in COVID, it was very real. If our shift or one of our locations had COVID running rampant, we had to be able to migrate our data processing and print capabilities to a different location. And so we really tested our business continuity and disaster recovery, and it worked. I mean, were we excellent in delivering in the same manner that we had in the past? The reality is we were not. But I can assure you that as we've been acquisitive, it's not just to buy companies out there that are for sale. It is literally a focus of ours to ensure we have scale, plug product gaps, and actually from a print perspective, ensure we have the proper geographic coverage in terms of what we're doing. And I talked about world-class service, and those may sound like words, but I can assure you we've had plans around our people, our processes, and what we're doing to ensure we're delivering with world-class. We survey our associates. Do they have the tools to do their job? And we survey our clients to get some feedback from you. Many of you may have already received the Doxim survey. I do believe feedback is a gift. We'll open up to questions later in this session, but I can assure you we do have a maniacal focus on ensuring that we are world-class in what we do. And when we're focused on, obviously, the technology, the people side of things, re-engineering who we are, Gary will walk you through some of the investments we've made in print technology, cameras, et cetera, to ensure that we're keeping pace as we grow and as our clients grow. And the root of all of this, you can scale, you can optimize and get more efficient, you can add technology, but it's really about our people. We mandated our people all went through service training in December, right before the holidays, as we geared up for month end. And a lot of it was just reminders on what's our philosophy as an organization? How do you do your job each and every day? How you should be interacting with our clients. And we may have lost a little bit of the personal touch along the way as we've had people out, whether they may have had COVID or they had family members or were exposed to COVID. If we need to keep the engine running, we had to send people home, quite frankly, for 2 weeks. And we may have lost that personal touch a bit, but I can assure you, we are focused on getting that back and having that one-to-one relationship with Doxim, our service organization, and yours as you look to focus on serving, whether it's your members or your meters, if you will, the people at the utility side and on the wealth management side, the other statements that may go out the door. So with that, I hope you can hear that. One, we know we haven't been stellar in the last few months. We take that very seriously. It's why we wanted to get in front of you and share a little bit about with you, not only our philosophy, our mindset. We have 4 pillars that we look at in terms of running a business. And the first one is clients first, going back to that philosophy and culture around serving our clients with world class. And so I'm pleased to turn it over to my team here to share with you some of the enhancements and investments we're making to get back, even in the world we're in, which is very much the new norm, to the service levels that quite frankly I expect, but we know you expect and demand. So with that, I'll pause. I'll be around here for questions, but I will throw it back to Gary.
Well, thank you, Mike, and welcome everyone. One of the things Mike talked about is how we have grown as a company. Doxim has grown with purpose. And many of you are probably familiar with the Madison Heights facility, and it is just one of several facilities that Doxim has that I have the privilege to lead. And our overall goal is to be the most trusted provider of regulated documents in North America, and also to make sure that you benefit from every time that we make an investment, that benefit is clear and that we deliver. We have over 300 employees that are in our print and mail operations around the country. I won't go through all of the names here or the print facilities, but what we're trying to do and what we will do is earn your trust every day. And that's what every employee within our operation, whether they're in Phoenix, whether they're in Detroit, whether they're in Indianapolis, you will benefit from the scalability that we have as we continue to grow both as a business and helping you grow your membership. It doesn't really mean a whole lot to you unless we deliver. And how we deliver is through a resilient network of having locations that are near you, making sure that we stay up to date and communicate how we're staying up to date with the latest inkjet technologies, camera systems, color matching. The business of print and mail continues to evolve, and we are here to help you take advantage of color, take advantage of digital and variable messaging. You're going to see a lot more about that later in this presentation from Nouman, but keep in mind that your members are very important to us. How you communicate with them is something that you've entrusted us with, and we take that very seriously. At the same time, there's the boring part of print and mail, which has to do with using the post office, making sure that all of the NCOA, all the rules and regulations are followed. You will always be assured that we are keeping you up to date on any of the U.S. Post Office regulations so that your mail is delivered and tracked properly. Part of our growth throughout all these organizations is to make sure we have a common practice. The way that we give you the benefit and the peace of mind is to know that we are printing on the same equipment at all of our locations. We have standardized on an inkjet platform. That means that if your work is done in Phoenix or done in Indy or done in Detroit, the same colors, the same logos, the same everything, same time, every time, without a doubt. Common inserting capabilities with cameras, reading the 2D barcodes, making sure that every mail piece is accounted for. These are all built into our Doxim system, and you benefit from that. Lastly is the common operation practices, both with staff training, our technology across all of our locations. That is what Madison Heights is going to benefit from. COVID may have thrown us a little bit of a delay in some of the training because, as Mike mentioned, with people not being maybe here in the office, we've learned some new skills, as you all probably did with your branches, of when you had to work remote or close facilities, close branches. But things are starting to come back now. We've figured out all those Zoom calls as we're on this one today. And you're going to see a supercharged, dedicated client service team that is really going to be able to fulfill your needs. with this, one of the most important things always security, making sure that all of your documents, your information, your data is safe. And for that, I'm going to introduce Stephen O'Doherty, our Chief Information Officer, who will give you a little insight into our security. Steve?
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, everyone, for your time today. Yeah, well, when it comes to technology, I mean, Doxim is truly global. We have data centers throughout North America. These are all tier 3 data centers with fully N+1 redundant systems. And within that, we leverage various types of deployment technologies, whether it's public, private, or hybrid cloud. So we can pretty much support any kind of deployment or implementation. With that comes, our focus on security and compliance. In addition to all the stuff that we do internally as a team, we leverage tools like Security Scorecard. And what this does is it allows us to, share our cybersecurity posture with our customers, and it provides transparency to, how we are managing and maintaining the security and integrity of your critical data. The one thing about Security Scorecard that I like is it allows our customers to follow us. If there's any changes in our rating, it allows real-time updates for our customers, and these alerts can go to our customers, which will often open up conversations, so we can go through in detail, what these mean and how we are addressing any of these concerns. Next slide. And when it comes to compliance, we have a fully dedicated team that is monitoring, tracking our security and compliance. And with that, and because we are a global organization, there's a number of different compliance certifications that Doxim holds. So, a lot of these may not apply to all organizations, but there are commonalities between these, which just means that, we are constantly reviewing and certifying and modifying our controls to stay on top of any kind of compliance requirements that are required by our customers.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Gary. Thanks.
Mike has already mentioned it's our commitment, our dedication to world-class service delivery. Nothing happens unless we can deliver, whether it is a print and mail document or an e-statement, an archive, tax documents. These are all critical. But more importantly, we recognize that your brand is very, very important to you, and it should be. And so you've trusted us to make sure that the quality of the print and the quality of the contents in every envelope matters, because your brand is really an extension of your community. Your member experience is hugely important. Your members are members by choice. They are not necessarily required to be a customer, maybe like a utility. You earn your membership every single day, and we acknowledge that and want to be as supportive as we ever can be with making sure your member experience is outstanding. And then lastly, quality assurance. Every single employee in the operation needs to be mindful that if it's not right, it doesn't matter if it's on time. So while we may race to hit SLAs, and we certainly want to hit every SLA, quality is always going to be number one. Frankly, it's going to be number 1, 2, and 3 to make sure that your member experience and your experience is flawless. You are being trusted with their finances, with their mortgages, with their auto loans. Anything that has to do with money is, you've been trusted, and we take that very seriously. As Mike mentioned, we've had some missteps over the last few months, and we've recognized those and we've learned from those. And feedback is a gift, as Mike has said. And some of the feedback has been difficult to hear, but needed. And thank you very much for that. A couple areas that you'll see some changes. One in the client service area. We've heard that maybe some of our customers don't know who their client service rep was, or that client service rep was out, and therefore we didn't know who is their backup. We will have dedicated client service representation. You will know exactly who your rep is and who their backup is, so that at any time you will be able to reach out to them and find out what is going on, whatever your question is. We are open for business. We want to hear if you need additional services, if you need a special mailing, if you're going to change an insert or artwork. Those are all things that our client service team is going to be not only dedicated, but communicating. They're going to get to know you and your requirements on a monthly, on a daily basis to make sure that they understand what the community is doing and your membership community is doing so that we can service you better. We will be tracking the work in a different way. We've installed some of our Doxim systems. Sometimes when you make changes in a local organization, you actually go a little backwards. People were used to doing things their way. I can assure you that we are very excited about some of the tracking systems that we've installed, and our employees are now finding the benefits of those so that they can get you immediate answers and instead of waiting for emails. And the same thing is true with change order management. Another exciting enhancement is the rapid response team. And Nouman, if you don't mind, if you can spend a few minutes talking about that.
Sure, Gary, thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us today. The rapid response team that we have deployed since Q4 of last year is actually a response to what you requested. We needed to turn around some of the changes that were coming in from your side and respond to them quickly and effectively and give you back the results as soon as possible. We had some delays in the past, so we recognized that, and we took some of the experts that know your system, that know the technology, and formed a team of 8 to 10 dedicated folks that are doing nothing but looking at the changes that are being requested, both large and small, working with your team to implement those changes and turning around and back to you for a UAT as soon as possible. We've set up some targets there. As you can see, our target is to reply to your quote within, or to give you a quote back within 3 days. Any small daily job changes, we want to target for 5 days to give back to you. And for our statement changes, we're looking at 10 days. So we have our internal targets, and we're going to strive to make them even better as we go along. Again, like I said, this is a completely self-contained team. It has a project manager, QA analysts, BAs, and actual programmers themselves. And their job is to just deliver on those changes. And we're seeing a much better response back to you guys. And I hope you will keep us up to date and let us know if we can make it better. The other part that I'd like to just quickly touch upon are technology or systems upgrades. And Steve talked a little bit about it too, is processing capacity, both from hardware and systems point of view. We have increased it so we can intake more and more of your jobs. We are a growing company as well as you are, so we are making sure that we have the resilience to handle all the extra work that's coming in. And the next part, the composition platform. Some of you have been with us for many, many years. When we implemented you, we had older technology at that time. I guess at that time it was new, but now it's quite old. And we've been taking every opportunity to bring you up to speed to a new technology engines that we have. You'll hear more about it over the next few months. We will offer you some of the upgrades and show you the advantages of going to the new composition tools, which allows you to better manage your statements. The composition tools are very flexible, and you can make just-in-time changes and so on. And of course, the time frame that is required to make those changes in your statements is much less than it is in the older, sort of more rigid system that we implemented many years ago. Another thing I'll touch upon on the next couple slides is the new Doxim admin portal. I'm very excited about that. It's an upgrade. It's a new system that we're going to overlay on. Most of you use ID Connect. This allows you a lot more flexibility and track your jobs and track your members as well. And there's a slide on that. From equipment and operations, I'll hand it back to Gary for talking a little bit about the actual hardware and equipment that has been implemented in the last few months.
Thank you, Nouman. One of the benefits of being part of the Doxim organization is the ability for us to standardize and upgrade our equipment as our business grows and as your business grows. So we've already added 3 new inkjet printers in the last 6 months. That has increased our capacity. We've added 5 new high-speed inserters. So 1.2 million envelopes a day sounds mind-boggling, but when you're doing 800 million a year. It's a necessary part of our business. And what's interesting about it is everyone thinks print is going away so quickly, but the reality is many of your members still want printed statements. Many want e-statements, some want both. So we're here for whichever direction your members go, and we will continue to load balance between our Doxim facilities so that we can achieve your SLAs. Nouman, you may want to, I know you touched on the composition program. We did have this for a little more detail for you.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Yeah, like I said, the composition tools, we have two state-of-the-art tools that are appropriate for each type of statement. Sometimes we require more flexibility, and we have one tool for that, and sometimes we require more speed, and we have another tool for that. And we'll talk in more detail with you when you approach us, and we can discuss with you your options. But both of them have the same feature set, if you will. The output has a much more modernized look and feel. You can manage your white space, your messaging, the graphics a lot better. The better space allocation, like I said, it's part of the whole composition, upgrade. We also have a better way of reporting back the account summary and so on to your customers. We can show you some of the examples how their statements could be well read, better read with the new tool, and then it's much easier to reformat. Like I mentioned earlier, it's much faster turnaround on some of the changes that are requested as opposed to the older system. And some of them, like I said, it can run much faster in our system, so we can meet your SLAs and even exceed your SLAs even more so in the future. So those are some of the features that we would like to discuss with you as we bring you to the next generation of composition tool. And our goal is to have all our clients on those over the next few months or a year at the end of this year. The next part that I talk a little bit about is a Doxim admin portal, the new portal that is being rolled out as well. This is, again, a very exciting, very well-tested system. We've already implemented over 100 customers on it in our different locations and getting a great response back. In essence, it really allows you to start tracking your jobs better. You can see on the right-hand side, for example, you can look at the 6-month rolling data on how your e-statement enrollment is, for example, or how many e-statements were delivered. These are configurable options as well, so you can look at the different metrics in there, not just necessarily those ones. You can also manage your jobs and the messaging in the job, so it's a lot of self-serving options here as well. And we'll get into more details when we walk you through it. We can track any form of communication that you're sending out, email, as well as the print and e-statements. And also the key here, I guess, is flexibility in the way this is set up. So it's like a microsite for yourself, highly secure, and you can sort of manage it and manage your jobs and track your jobs much easily than you would ever in the past. So again, we're very excited about this. It's been rolled out, it's been well tested, and then we're looking forward to talking to you about it. So if you are interested in it, please reach out to your account executive or send us an email at support@doxim.com, and we'll be more than happy to walk you through this new admin portal.
Thank you, Nouman. And you'll notice on this slide on the right-hand side, your customer service rep in a picture. That's just to summarize our dedicated customer service representatives, the rapid response team, how we've improved within the investments we've made to process your data faster, and then also the investments we've made to print and mail faster. Nothing gets done unless you measure it. And here's a list. I don't expect anyone to take notes necessarily, but every one of these projects is being tracked by the senior leadership team to make sure that we are hitting the mark. Your feedback is vital for us, both positive and negative, that we are hitting the mark, that we are understanding how valuable we are to making sure that your brand, your members, your community, that we are servicing you in a high quality way every day and earning your trust. So Janet, if you'll take it away.
Sure. Thanks, Gary. And I think that gets us close to the end of our conversation today. the objective of today's webinar was really to share with you, our customers, some of the great new enhancements that we've put in place in order to improve your service levels and continue to strive to be a world-class service provider for our customers. And so what we wanted to close with today is really our commitment to you. You heard, I think, from Mike Rogalski at the top of the presentation today. The reality is we were impacted this year by COVID, and we charged through as an essential service provider to ensure that your e-statements and your print and mail is delivered, getting to the doors, to the inboxes of your membership. All within this essential service, we've been working really, really hard to ensure that happens for you. Our commitment to you is a client-centric partnership model. We understand that we are essentially an extension of your brand, of your service, and we respect that. And we want to work with you in partnership in order to ensure that your memberships are receiving the experience that they deserve. Our commitment is to deliver on time and within quality. I think Gary mentioned SLAs, ensuring that we've got new equipment, optimized processes, constantly looking at the operation. How can we do better? How can we service and deliver our customers? In addition, delivering within industry security, compliance, and regulations, right? Extremely important. We're dealing with sensitive information, regulated statements. Stephen referenced our security scorecard. We monitor and track our security and compliance every single day. So making sure that you feel confident that the business you're receiving from Doxim is within those security and compliance regulations. We're committed to delivering innovation for your growth. We didn't talk a lot about it today. We talked about our service, e-statements a little bit, print and mail, but underpinning all of that is our investment in our CCM platform, right? We have I call it a cradle to grave, but it's a full omni-channel platform that enables you to grow and change your business as your membership expects it. So, today, whether or not they're print or mail, but maybe you do have an initiative to go towards maybe it's email, it's text, it's voice. We have a complete platform that we're innovating in and investing in to ensure that you can scale based upon those omni-channel requirements of your membership. So delivering innovation for growth, a key commitment of ours. And then finally, delivering a superior customer experience, not just from us to you, but from you to your membership. So that is our commitment to you. I hope that you received the information you needed on this webinar today. I have been monitoring the Q&A panel. We don't have any questions, but I will pause here for a sec and just see if you have any final questions before we close off. And as we give you a minute to kind of think about if you want to put any questions in the Q&A chat, I will just take a moment and thank our speakers today. Thank you, Gary, Stephen, Nouman, and Mike, for all the information that you've shared today. We did record this webinar, so we will be uploading a version of it and sending it out to you guys in order to share with anybody in your organization that you may want to share with. I see we have no questions. I hope that means that we've answered all of your questions in our content today. So with that, I will thank you for your time. I will thank you for joining and wish you a great rest of day.